some noise for Abby!
Hello. Okay, so my set has been cut to within an inch of its life. I hope it still makes sense. So there was this guy in a bar who within about... Hello, Jack. Who within about 10 minutes of meeting me for the very first time uttered the following words. I have a very fine nose. I can smell when a woman is menstruating. Now, full disclosure, I will happily talk about blood and guts and genitalia, whatever, but I usually give people who I've just met about, half an hour of a grace period. And she said period. And it was very clear that he didn't actually care about the plight of people who get visited by Aunt Flo once a month. No, he wanted to talk about vaginas with someone who he saw as a woman half his age. Unfortunately, no, wait. So the thing is, he picked menstruation, and the thing is, of all the topics you're going to mansplain to a woman, are you sure that this is not a risky choice? I mean, I know it contains the word menstruation, but unless you're a trans man, you probably don't have a lot of experience. But my bullshit brain, of course, went, challenge accepted. So just before that, how did it get to that utterance? He compared himself to a used tampon, which made no sense because he was neither made of cotton nor soaked in blood. But as I've said, I was already in challenge mode, and I went, well, I don't know about tampons because I don't use them. And he was like, do you just let it run down your leg? I was like, no, I use a menstrual cup. And he was like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this. So, to explain, because Jack didn't really explain it earlier, it is a small goblet, or chalice, made out of medical silicone, which you stick up your fun tube, if you have one, where it can collect all the blood and the gunk that your body expels once a month as punishment for having failed to become pregnant. Tangent. A different conversation with a different man who claimed that menstrual blood was sterile. Now, I'm all for destigmatizing periods, as you can see, but I'm not standing for bullshit. It's not sterile, it's blood! How can you say that blood is not sterile? It contains like all the diseases you have. And also, you might not know this, like half the room might not know this. Menstrual blood doesn't work like a decapitation in a Tarantino movie where you have just a nice clean spray of liquid. No, it contains decomposing membranes and other crap that the body wants to get rid of, and that's why you're actually bleeding. It's not like the body is going, oh, I have all this nice, clean, fresh blood lying around. What should I do with it? Oh, I know, expel it through the vagina. So anyway, I explained the menstrual cup to this guy, and he was grossed out. I can't for the life of me fathom why. Because after all, he had started talking about blood-soaked tampons, and as the ancient philosophy states, don't start none, won't be none. He started some. But he recovered, unfortunately. And that's when he dropped the bombshell about having a fine nose and being able to smell when a woman can menstruate. I was like, that's amazing. How do you know when you're right? Did you do a scientific study where you lined up a bunch of women and sniffed them and then asked them and compared your results? And it was like, no, of course not, of course not. It's a pheromone thing. I was like, you can't smell pheromones. He didn't listen. It's like, it's pheromones. It comes out in your sweat. I was like, if I'd been sweating blood, I think I would have noticed. It makes one hell of a stain. He didn't listen. He kept invading my personal space and talking about what he thought was his great nose. And then he leaned in and he whispered in my ear. And I was like, I can't do it. And he was like, I can smell it and it makes me horny. And I do what every animal does when it gets backed into a corner. I got very sarcastic. And I said, are you saying that a woman being on her period turns you on? And that's when he finally backed away. He was like, no, of course not. Of course not. That's not what I meant. And I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you meant. You wanted to talk about vaginas, but instead you got lost in the Red Sea without a life vest. And thereby hangs a tale. Thank you. Can I do a little bit of promotion? Okay, if you want to see me and the lovely Andra, again, both on a stage, not at the same time, but we've got a thing going on the 7th of January, which has a lot of lovely female comedians and comedians, you know, having these parts. And it is called Don't Be a Pussy. She made the name up, so. So please come and see us. Where is it again?
In the AR.
At the AR in Vienna, and we've got the banner coming up, that banner right there. So come and see us. Thank you very much.